massive transfer drama at Ibrox. Besiktas come in waving more than £6.5 million for Mohamed Diomande, and Rangers slam the door shut. Samuel Adozi could be the next explosive winger to arrive, but there's a fierce battle brewing with Belgium. Russell Martin's not done yet. He's pushing to hijack Southampton's dream signing of Xavier Mbuyamba. The so-called next Van Dijk and Conor Coady, desperate to ditch Leicester and be unveiled in Glasgow this week before the Champions League clash. Stay locked in. This window's heating up, and Rangers are right in the thick of it. Rangers could be on the verge of landing a proper gem, an old-school, no-nonsense leader who actually wants to wear the blue. Conor Coady, a natural-born organizer at the back, is now pushing with everything he's got behind the scenes to force his way out of Leicester City and into Ibrox, ideally this week in time to face Panathinaikos in that monumental Champions League qualifier next Tuesday. Now, you know how UEFA love their red tape. Only 25 players on List A, and 8 of those need to be locally trained. Russell Martin's sitting on just 7 of those as it stands. That's a problem. And while names like Emmanuel Fernandez and Nasser Giga have already come in, you can't put a price on experience when you're up against seasoned European opposition. Martin's eyes are firmly fixed on Cody, and the feeling's clearly mutual. Cody's gone as far as begging Leicester to leave him out of their pre-season tour of Austria just so he can finalize the switch to Glasgow. That's not just a player being professional, that's a lad desperate to be part of something special, and it's no wonder this isn't some washed-up veteran looking for a payday. We're talking about a former England international with 10 caps, nearly 200 Premier League appearances, and a spell at Wolves where he missed 1 league game in 4 seasons. That's the sort of consistency and mental steel Rangers have missed in that back line. Jermaine Defoe said it best. He's a natural leader, always has been. And if the deal gets done sharpish, Cody might just be the calm head we need to marshal the defense through not just qualifiers, but a proper run in Europe. Now, here's where things get spicy. If Cody signs and slots straight in, what happens to John Souttar? With interest from Trabzonspor and his contract ticking down, do you stick or twist? Let him run it down or cash in now while there's still value? And here's the kicker. Would you drop Souttar for Cody right now, even if it means helping him out the door, just to make room for someone who hasn't kicked a ball for us yet? Russell Martin might just have Saints supporters chewing their scarves this week because once again, the man who once sat in their dugout is now standing in their way. And this time, it's about Xavier Mbuyamba, the towering Dutch defender being hailed as the next Virgil van Dijk. Now, you know the type, 6'5", strong in the air, calm on the ball, and just 23 years old. He's already had a sniff of the top level with a first-team call-up under Thomas Tuchel at Chelsea. No surprise then that Southampton were desperate to land him after that horror show in their last friendly. But here comes the twist. Rangers are circling, and it's not just paper talk. The legendary Fabrizio Romano himself has confirmed our interest. That alone has sent the Saints fan base into panic mode, now openly hoping that Martin doesn't pull this one off. Here's the thing though, despite the buzz, the latest from Keith Jackson suggests there's no official contact between Ibrox and Volendam just yet. That could mean one of 2 things. Either we're playing it smart, keeping our cards close to the chest, or we're risking losing a top talent for the price of a second-hand Ford Fiesta around £500,000. Let that sink in. £500,000 for a player who could genuinely be molded into a European powerhouse at Ibrox. With Souttar attracting bids and his future hanging by a thread, bringing in Mbuyamba as part of a new-look backline alongside Cody and Giga could be the kind of statement that turns heads across the continent. And honestly, you'd expect Southampton to be the ones making this kind of signing, but now they're left hoping Russell Martin shows mercy on his old club and backs off. Good luck with that. This isn't League One anymore. This is the Champions League stage we're building for. If Rangers do move and secure Mbuyamba, should Russell Martin actively push Sartar out the door to make way for a backline built on power, potential, and Premier League experience, even if it means letting a Scotland international go to Turkey? Samuel Adozi. Remember the name? Because this could be the kind of clever loan deal that tips the scales for Rangers this season. A 22-year-old winger with lightning pace, real flair, and a record of end product from his spell at Anderlecht. 4 goals and 6 assists in just over 700 minutes of football. He's been on Ibrox's radar for a while now, and with Gassama already through the door, you can tell Russell Martin's got his sights set on revitalizing both flanks. But here's the catch. This won't be a free run. Rangers are going toe-to-toe with clubs in Belgium's top flight, all sniffing around Adozi after his impressive campaign in Brussels. And while our initial approach for a loan was knocked back, the interest hasn't faded, not one bit. Now, what makes this particularly interesting is the Russell Martin connection. He knows Adozi from their Southampton days, and that history could play a huge role in getting this over the line. Let's face it, Ibrox is a far more tempting stage than bouncing around mid-table in Belgium, Champions League qualifiers, packed nights under the lights, and a real shot at silverware. It's a no-brainer for any ambitious winger. With Gassama likely to take the right, there's a glaring vacancy on the left. On last season, it was a carousel. Haji, Badrami, Igamane, none of them truly nailed it down. And with Lila sniffing around the Moroccan, that door might be swinging open sooner than expected. The big question now is, should Russell Martin go all in to reunite with Adozi and risk stunting Gassama's early momentum, or would adding another winger into the mix actually push both to higher levels, forcing a real fight for those wide spots? Finally, a bit of spine shown in the transfer window, and it's exactly the response you'd expect from a club serious about chasing silverware. Rangers have told Besiktas, in no uncertain terms, that Mohamed Diomande is not for sale after the Turkish outfit slapped more than £6.5 million on the table, and rightly so. You've seen the lad play? In a season that lacked rhythm, Diamand was one of the few who consistently looked like he had a bit of class about him. 6 goals, 9 assists, over 4,000 minutes played. He didn't just show flashes, he delivered. Week in, week out. Besiktas think they're being clever, moving early with a bid just big enough to tempt most clubs in Europe. But Ibrox isn't just any club, and Diamand isn't some squad filler. He's 23, contracted for 3 more years, and nowhere near his ceiling yet. That offer wasn't just rejected, it was laughed out the room. Russell Martin can't be expected to rebuild Rangers and challenge Celtic if players like Diamand are being sold off the minute a check comes through the fax machine, especially not when Nico Raskin could be out the door this summer too. Strip both from that midfield, and you may as well hand the league over to that mob across the city before a ball's kicked. If the player keeps progressing, the money will come, maybe next summer, and it'll be proper Champions League cash, not Super League scraps. But for now, Rangers need to hold their ground. Now tell me this, should Rangers fans be outraged that a club even thought £6.5 million was enough to prize away one of our best midfielders? Or does the fact it was even considered suggest that, behind closed doors, someone at Ibrox is listening to offers? If you haven't seen yesterday's video yet, you're missing out. Explosive news about Rangers that'll leave every fan stunned. Go check it out now.